Hello, welcome to Living and Learning. I'm Allison Kinnear. Every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I hop onto Facebook Live and give a quick little talk about living and learning. I'm starting the video a little bit late because I had some technical difficulties, so hopefully this video will load. This month, I want to talk about boundaries once again because it's such a pressing issue. I posted earlier this week that the number one thing that my clients struggle with is boundaries, knowing how to set them, knowing how to protect a little bit of their space in time, and also knowing how to keep them, should they get transgressed. Today, we're going to talk about mental load and boundaries. So what do I mean by mental load? Mental load is the load that typically, but not always, but typically women carry in a relationship, in that in thinking about the mental load is like kind of the project management, to think about all the things that need to be done in a household. So if you are someone who does the cooking in the family, chances are you carry that mental load. You carry the mental load of needing to buy food, of rearranging your schedule so that the food can be purchased, planning the meals, cooking the meals, and maybe even cleaning up the meals. So the mental load around deciding what gets made for dinner or any of the meals on any given day, that mental load falls to the person who does that work. Similarly, when it comes to cleaning around the house, the mental load of making sure that there are clean sheets, clean towels, clean clothes, clean surfaces so that cooking can happen, making sure that the bills are organized, making sure that the car is tidy, that mental load falls to the person who's kind of overseeing that. This also happens in other respects. Yard work. The mental load falls to the person who's carrying the responsibility of the yard work. Now, who carries out the tasks of that work might go to different people, but the mental load is the person who's keeping that in mind, ooh, we have a bunch of tasks that need to be completed so our household can run smoothly. Typically, this mental load, as well as an emotional load is something different, but emotional load is making sure that the emotions of the family are kept in a balanced place. But typically that falls to the woman. Not in every relationship, but in many relationships and many heterosexual relationships, that's the case, is that this mental load, mental burden tends to fall to the women. So why am I talking about this? One of the things that I think is helpful is just to know that this mental load happens. It will show up in that, and I know that I do this for myself, and I've seen it parodied out there on the internet, but I go into a room to just transfer the laundry. I go into the laundry room, transfer the laundry. That's all I'm there to do. But on the way, I trip over some shoes. So I go and I put the shoes away. And then I see a jacket sitting on the couch. And so I put that away. And then I see something on the table and I kind of tidy that up. And then I go and I transfer the laundry. But I maybe have forgotten that I was transferring the laundry in the first place. So for people who don't carry the mental load of maybe the cleanliness of the household, if you ask them to go transfer the laundry, they will walk past the shoes. They will walk past the coat. They will walk past the table and just transfer the laundry because they're not holding the mental load of overall tidiness of the house. They're only thinking about that one specific task. And this is something that comes up as a rub in many relationships. Because for the person carrying the mental load, they are saying, what's going on? Can't you see that you just walked past all these tasks? And for the one who's just thinking about the task and has no awareness of the mental load, they may not realize how much the person carrying the mental load is actually carrying. And I see this show up in the form of anxiety. I see this show up in the form of resentment. I see this show up in the form of exhaustion. I see this show up basically in ways where even if you are carrying a lot of the mental loads in your family as well as in your work, you may not even realize why there's so much anger that exists. But you might feel like blowing up in somebody's direction when anything about the responsibilities that you are carrying the mental load of seems off. So if there's a comment about like, wow, the house is really a mess, and you're the one who's constantly trying to make sure that the house isn't a mess, you're carrying that mental load, you might snap because it's not being seen and you don't feel like it's being seen or appreciated. So what is this? Why am I talking about this? I've been thinking a lot about why am I starting this boundaries for the holidays? And one of the things that I recognize both in myself and in many of the people I witness is that there's the mental load that we carry at work. Then there's the mental load we carry at home. And then there's the mental load that is carried during the holidays that just piles up on it. And it's one of the reasons that people dread it. It's one of the reasons why people find themselves exhausted or a little bit more irritated than usual, is because they're carrying so much on their shoulders and may not even be aware of it. Let me give you an example of what happens on top of those other scenarios during the holidays. Buying the presents, not only for the kids, but also all the other family members, nieces, nephews, mother-in-laws, whoever it is, doing that. That is another thing, another project that falls into that mental load space. Did we get everybody on our list? Sending out cards, if people are still sending out cards. Cooking meals. Preparing, inviting people, coordinating the invitations, figuring out the time, cleaning the house before people come over, deciding what's going to be eaten, how the shopping is going to happen. For many, many people that I know, all of those tasks around cooking, cleaning, shopping, planning, event organizing falls to just one person in the relationship. And it is a breeding ground. It can be, even though that person might really like doing those tasks, when it builds up and it piles on more and more and more, it can go from, I really like planning a Christmas party, let's say, if your family celebrates Christmas. I really like celebrating a Christmas Eve party. However, it could be the thing that you are finding yourself holding on to so much stress and resentment around, and you don't even know why. This can be a direct reflection of that mental load. Now, it's interesting. In my relationship, my husband does all the cooking. He does all the shopping, the meal planning, the cooking. He does it all. And there are occasions when I have to step in and do it. And it's like I'm lost. I don't know what to buy. I don't know what to cook. I don't know what to prepare. I just cook extra popcorn for the kids so they can eat it later and make sure they go to bed with a full belly. It is ridiculous how startling it can be to step into a role that you are absolutely not holding any mental load around. And so what I also find is that should let's pretend we're again in this heterosexual relationship where the wife says to the husband, okay, I can't do this all. You need to clean the house. You need to do something here. Then he goes to start to do it and is met with, oh, you have no idea how to do these things. And we get all little red hennish and it's like, I'm going to do it myself. So we don't even give an opportunity for people to try and to fail and to make mistakes. When I have to cook, my poor children, they don't really like what I make unless it's something that I absolutely cannot mess up. But even then, it's room for mistakes and error, because when you don't have to carry that mental load, you simply are not aware that it's happening. So one of the things that when it comes to boundaries, First of all, it's important to have this conversation now before you're in the thick of everything. And second of all, it's important to share this with your partner, should you have one, to talk about this and to talk about and to do some planning for what are the mental loads that you are going to release. And when I say release, I mean fully release. One thing that can be is, I'm not going to shop for your mother, or I'm not going to shop for your nieces and nephews. I'm only going to buy 3 presents for our kids, or I'm only going to do cook these 2 meals. You are responsible for these other 2 dishes. This is a way to kind of say, this is what's happening. And then if they don't send a present to their mother, well, then they will be the one to suffer the consequences of that. If they don't cook extra dishes for the Thanksgiving meal, then they can be the ones to live with not having as much food on the table. These are ways that we can set up natural consequences and expectations now, and really allow ourselves to say, I'm here to help, I'm here to support, but I'm not going to carry this load. I really need your support in carrying this. The other thing that we can do is think about, how much mental load do you want to carry? If there's events at school, is now the time to sign up for them? Is there anything that can be cut out of your life so that you're not carrying that mental load for everyone, everywhere? What can you give yourself a little grace on, a little slack on? And what are some things that you can give your partner some grace and slack on? It doesn't mean it's going to come out perfectly or the way that you created it. However, it can relieve some of that mental pressure from you. This is important work. If you find yourself being everything to everyone at the holidays and wind up feeling resentful, unappreciated, unseen, unimportant as a result, or you find yourself a little on edge during the holidays, this is a dynamic to be aware of. And we talk a lot about boundaries in the Boundaries for the Holidays program around ways to further mitigate this mental load, this mental burden, and especially the emotional load that we carry when it comes to making sure that the people who are coming to our events, or when we get together with family, that everyone's happy. That is an emotional load that is too big of a topic to cover now, but it's one that we as women can find ourselves in that position and state. This is what I have to offer you. So what I would encourage you to do, number 1, check out my Boundaries for the Holidays program. It starts October 14th, and I think I'm going to have it open so people can enroll afterwards should they want to. And number 2, take a look at the mental load article that I posted in my initial post, and I can put it in the comments here. Take a look, share it with your partner, and also reflect on it yourself. What do you want to let go of so that you can actually have more time to enjoy yourself this holiday season? If you have any questions or comments, put it in the links below. Hi, Griffin. Hello to, I can see there's more people tuned in, but I don't know who you are unless you comment. But hello, thank you so much for joining me. We will be talking more about boundaries this month, so feel free to tune in. I will see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.